we're gonna try this again. My hand has screwed me over on the first video. But yeah, I can't raise my wrist up any higher than that. That's all I can do, and these two fingers are numb, all up the left side of my arm, from about middle of my bicep all the way down, is numb. So yeah, it's been an interesting thing, considering, you know, everything I do with my hands. Giggity. But yeah, that's my 87. My dad bought it brand new. It's a K5, of course, 4-wheel drive, short box, leaf suspension right now. I will be putting a an all-wheel drive system out of a 2013 Suburban in it at some point, because I had built the engine when I built it. I put it together to be able to withstand a small Paxton supercharger. You know, nothing with more than maybe 10-15 pounds of boost, but it'd be enough. Especially with the way it is now. I mean, in 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel low, and in low range, if you're sitting on the edge of the back seat and I stomp it, the truck jumps forward and will flip you over the back seat. I don't care who you are, you're going over the back seat. But yeah, I've got completely redone, put titanium magnesium alloy gears in both front and rear end. The transmission's a 700R4 that's got a stage 2 TCI kit put in it with titanium gears. Mainly now it's mostly body work and stuff, and like this seat's still messed up. I haven't fixed it yet, and the running board over here, the top needs to be refinished, resealed, and probably a layer of resin put on it. Stuff like this here, and that one there, that there, you know, little things. Did that when I was a teenager pulling into a gas station. And this one, I mean, you can tell it, you can really see it in person, but yeah, I did that when I was 12 years old. Kind of hit a fence post and caved this little corner in right here. And me and my buddy were in the middle of a hayfield at the middle of the night with a hammer of all things, trying to, you know, fix it. That didn't work for very long. I mean, the very next day, Dad was like, "What the hell did you do to my truck?" So yeah. Well, this is her. The block and heads came from my granddaddy's shop. It's a 4-bolt main, 362, 40 over. It's got flat top, Heath black baked aluminum pistons in it, magnesium and aluminum alloy pistons. It's got trick flow push rod, trick flow roller rockers, trick flow lifters. It's got a trick flow balanced crankshaft in it. I upsized the valves in it to handle the supercharger. The original double hump heads, these are 1972 double hump heads out of a Stingray, and they originally had 192 202 valves in them. I replaced those with 196 and 206 valves to handle the extra airflow from the supercharger whenever it gets put on here. But that's where it's going to sit right here. I do have new water neck for it and all that. Yeah, that one's kind of grody. New water pump. I got chrome everything to put on it. I just haven't put it on there because, you know, I didn't want to. I had to use this because my other alternator screwed up on me, so I had to pull my chrome one out. But that's a 190 amp alternator. It's got a stereo to end all stereos in it, and those headers are Kerma coats that I got from a buddy of mine in Nevada. He was training. He owns a powder coating place out there. Does a lot of work for hooker headers and stuff like that, and headmans. He was training a guy, and the guy messed him up, and there's some dull spots, dull finish on them and stuff like that. I didn't care. He sold them to me for $75, and they're $400 set of heads, and they're shorties. I needed shorties. But that side of the floor has been done. I've already patched it. I've rebuilt the seat. The stereo is now no longer going to be here. It's going to be right there. That's a flip fold out face. It's a cheap piece of crap, but it works for now. Sony speakers all around, up in the corners, down there, one there, one there. So that's what, 6 in the front. You see the little Sonys on the side over there. Oh, the Yamahas, sorry. And there's a 15 back in the back here. A single 15 is enough in this truck, believe you me. Especially with a Black Widow bass modulator hooked into it that's under there. Reverse camera and all that neat crap. This was my old lady's seat, and you know, mine's a little different. There's some more meteorites right there. The back seat looks great. Front seats are trash. But yeah, I've redone all this. All this has been redone. I just gotta finish up the actual finishing on this for paint. But you can see it's got a lot of stuff that's got to be redone. All new seals, all new everything's got to be put on it. Transfer case is a TCI Warren rebuild. It's what they call the bulletproof edition. But the stereo in this thing will get up to 127 decibels. And it will get louder than that, but it starts to distort at that level. But what I plan on doing is I'm going to put the soft, kind of almost rubbery Rhino bed liner in the floorboard up to probably, I don't know, an inch or two up, maybe about an inch up off the floorboard. That way it can just be hosed out, and it's just going to have rubber mats in here. To hell with all that carpet. I'm getting a new dash for it, obviously. I'm not putting a cover on it. That's just ghetto. I redid all the gauges, put Bosch gauges in it, except for the speedometer and the. I'm gonna take the tack and put it over here, and take the fuel gauge and put it right here. I just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna be removing the AC controls, and I'm just going to put some pots, some knob pots right through here, because the whole gauge cluster is going to be completely redone. I've had to redo the whole wiring harness, you know, because this thing had TFI on it, so it was a bit of a spidery mess to pull it all out, but I got it all out of there after it took me 2 days. But, you know, it separated what was computerized versus what was analog in the whole wiring harness from front to back. Which there wasn't a whole lot, because it is an 87. Let's see. Yeah, the floorboard's going to be Rhino liner, and everywhere that there's blue paint on the inside and outside is going to be, you know that last year they made the Hummers, that chameleon blue purple that they had? I'm going to put that on it instead of just a solid black undercoating for it, which is normally what you would put under something like that. I'm going to put a candy undercoat. I've done it before, and it turns out really well. It looks really cool. It does. It looks like the whole thing is a ghost, which I like that. I like ghost jobs. But its name is going to be Zilla. Gorzilla. Like it's supposed to be said. Not Godzilla. Fucking Americans. But everywhere that's on the outside is going to be that color. Down here, all the white paint's going to be redone in that chameleon. The top and all the interior pieces, front, inside, wherever there's an interior piece, and the seats are going to be redone in a medium tan color. It's going to have an all-wheel drive system out of a 2013 Suburban or Tahoe, I can't remember which. But it's a 2013 Tahoe or Suburban that the all-wheel drive system will fit under this truck with a little bit of modification, not much, but a little bit. It's gonna. A buddy of mine's actually making me a billet grill for this thing right now. I should have that probably next month sometime. But he's a real busy dude, and I'm lucky to get what I can get out of him anyway. I'm gonna have dual batteries in it. That's my homemade power system over there, power distribution system. It does have an inverter, and on the inside is gonna have everything. I know I just haven't done it all yet, but it's gonna have all the stereo stuff, and all that crap's gonna be on separate power circuits, separate ground circuits, everything else, to try and eliminate electronic noise as best I can. But it's gonna have another battery sit right here. It's gonna have two 1,000 amp batteries. It takes a 1,000 amp battery to crank this damn thing. It's got 11.5 to 1 compression. Oh yeah, when I put a supercharger on it, I'm gonna have to lower that by at least by 1 point. Get it down to 10.5 at least. Then I'll safely say I can put 10-15 pounds of boost on it. But I just like the look of a Paxton supercharger. They're just cool. Let's see. It does have a blown head gasket on this side right now. Other side. It's this side. This side has valve seal leaks on it. But you know, I built this engine many moons ago. About 11 years ago, actually. When you hear it run, and after me saying I built it 11 years ago, you'll be like, yeah, okay, he knows a little bit about what he's doing. But yeah, it got 140. It was 148.6 miles an hour. Might as well just say 149. Going around up on the bypass on the 4-lane. It's the fastest it's ever been before. And I'll say it. I was surprised, quite surprised. It didn't start floating or nothing like that. It just, you could feel it. It just kept wanting to accelerate. It was almost like it was starting to squat down more and more the faster I went. This battery is like 3 or 4 years old. And I let it sit too long, and it sulfification is what happened on the plates in there, and you know they don't want to take a charge once that happens, and you got to slowly build the battery back up so that all that stuff will turn back into the battery acid electrolytes. But it needs it needs a little bit of work. It's been a while since I've done anything to it. Well, since last summer actually. But it's got the new style AVP2 Edelbrock carburetor on it that has the annular boosters instead of the old dog legs. You know, the dog legs are just a brass tube that's about twice the size of a pencil lid that sticks down in the center of the two front bowls, and it just squirts a solid stream of gas down in there. That's horrible for fuel mixing ratios and trying to get things leaned out just right on an engine like this. It makes it a living nightmare. So I had to get the annular boosters, which they just came out with those a couple years ago, and it's night and day difference. Night and day difference. The throttle response is so much more crisp, and it's just, yes, I don't know how in the world I ever went by without annular boosters. But let's see if I can get this thing up and going here. Where's it? There we go. Yeah, it's still kind of hard for me to do stuff with one hand here. Come on. The diaphragm in the fuel pump is a little weak, and it allows backflow, so it kind of sucks the line dry. She is a bit cold-natured, but most 350s that are 4-bolt mains with flat tops and that are bored out and have large valves and all that kind of stuff in them are cold-natured. They don't really run very well until it's warmed up pretty good. Then it'll sit there and count them off. But see that little puff of smoke? Yep, that's oil. Bad valve seals. There, now you can hear. I'll let it run till it warms up anyway. I need to. It hasn't run in like a week, so. Yeah, that's my truck. I'll get back in the back here just a second. There we go. And it's still cold right now too, so the idle goes up about 150 RPMs once it gets good and warmed up. But you can see the moisture dripping out of there. See it right there at the bottom of the tip? There's the drip. See? Bloody head gasket. And I got to put a new power steering pump on it. You can probably hear it. I'm going to flip this thing down to. And the squeal does go away after it's been running for a minute, but yeah, that power steering pump needs to be replaced. You can hear that sucker. Yeah, oh yeah. And I added my own modifications for the lights under the hood. It's got, these go on the sides of a truck bed. And I got 4 on the hood and 4 down in the engine compartment. And I'm gonna tell you, this thing lights up in the night. It's like you put a big ass spotlight under here or something. I need to tighten that alternator belt just a little bit. And when my dad was driving this thing, he had to put a new valve cover gasket on this side, and he wrung off one of the cover bolts. You see how that's wiggling around? Yeah. So basically it's just in there for looks, and there's so much silicone around that damn corner right there. I dread the day I gotta pull it off and clean it. I'm gonna leave you right here and give it a little bit of a poof so you can hear it. yeah, that's basically my truck right there. I know this thing's got to be at close to operating temperature by now. Nope, not quite. And my oil pump's getting a little bit on the tired side after 12 years. It used to sit at 60 when it was cold. Now it sits at 40. But doesn't that just purr sound so good? There. Now she's good. I love that sound. Counting the cylinder, just count them off. I love it. It's my favorite sound in the whole world. But yeah, you can put a dollar bill at the end of the tips, and when it's sitting there, it'll blow the dollar bill out. It's got awesome compression. But yeah, that's it. This is her. So this is just one thing that I've been, playing with for the last few years. I mean, I've had everything from 77 Pontiac Phoenixes with 455 rockets in them. That was a trip. That thing was a coffin on wheels, let me tell you. I've had a 77 Bandit Edition with a 400 big block in it. I've had Trans Am Bandit Edition. It had all the interior pieces too that were in perfect shape. I was so surprised. This is my shop. That's my dad's crap over there, all of his woodwork and stuff. I hate having that shit in here. I absolutely hate it. It gets dust everywhere, and I don't like it. And I haven't been able to put all my tools back up yet because I had to, stop being a mechanic and all, and everything just kind of got piled in right there, and yeah, it is what it is. But that's essentially it. But if you don't mind, if you'll look for or keep an eye out for a tailgate for an 87, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you'd have your boy look for one too out where he's at, I'd really appreciate it. Hopefully I find one somewhere. Or I may have to just stick another model year on it, but I don't want to do that. That's sacrilege. So yeah, that's it.